Ethan Wells had spent his entire life exploring wildlife, jungles, oceans, and mountains, always searching for the rarest creatures on Earth. But nothing in his years of exploration felt as strange or important as the fragile, ancient map handed to him by a mysterious old man in a dusty market in Peru. The map was unlike anything he had ever seen, its ink shimmered as though it were alive, and the parchment hummed softly as he held it. One word stood out at the center: Lumaria. Legends had whispered for centuries of a place hidden from the world, a sanctuary where the most extraordinary animals lived, creatures believed to be extinct or completely unknown. Many scientists dismissed these stories as fairy tales. Ethan didn't. Not after the old man warned him, "The creatures are calling." Within days, Ethan was deep inside the Amazon rainforest, guided only by the strange symbols on the map. The air was thick with the scent of wet earth, and the canopy above flickered with slivers of sunlight. His boots sank into moss as he pushed deeper, the sounds of insects and distant birds echoing like a living orchestra. Every so often he felt something watching him, but each time he turned, the forest stood silent, innocent. Then, just as he began to doubt the map, a jaguar stepped out of the shadows. But its fur shimmered, not like normal golden fur, but as if strands of light were woven into it. The animal stared at him, not with hostility, but with an intelligence that felt ancient. The jaguar turned, looked back once, and began walking into the forest. Ethan hesitated only a moment before following. They walked for hours through twisting vines and towering trees until they reached a living wall of vines so thick Ethan couldn't have pushed a finger through them. Without hesitation, the jaguar pressed a glowing paw to the ground. The vines reacted like they were alive, curling away and opening a hidden passage. Ethan stepped forward, and the world changed. He had entered Lumaria. Inside, the forest was like another planet. Colors were richer, air smelled sweeter, and every leaf seemed alive with faint luminescence. Giant flowers floated above the ground like balloons, their petals glowing softly. Trees grew in spirals, their bark pulsating gently as though the forest itself breathed. But the animals stunned Ethan most. A group of deer-like creatures leapt between trees, but every time they jumped, they dissolved into beams of sunlight, reappearing several feet away. Birds with crystal feathers glided overhead, catching sunlight and scattering it into rainbows. A lizard with mirror-like scales sat on a branch, reflecting whatever it touched: rocks, trees, even Ethan's face. As Ethan wandered further, he reached a river unlike any on Earth. Instead of water, a glowing blue liquid flowed, slow and thick like melted glass. He knelt beside it, staring at his reflection, only to see a version of himself a few seconds into the future. The river didn't show what was, it showed what would be. The sight made him stumble back in awe and confusion. A soft voice behind him said, "Lumaria reveals itself only to those with pure intentions." Ethan turned to see an elderly woman with long silver hair and eyes the color of emerald leaves. She stood beneath a colossal ancient tree with roots spreading across the ground like veins. The golden jaguar sat beside her. "I am Erilyn, guardian of Lumaria," she said. "And the forest has chosen you." Ethan tried to speak, but she raised her hand gently. "The world outside has destroyed too much. Forests fall, oceans choke, animals disappear. Lumaria is the last refuge for many species. It hides itself from humans, except those willing to protect, not exploit." Ethan nodded, feeling the truth of her words. Erilyn handed him a stone amulet shaped like a leaf. The moment he touched it, a pulse of energy moved through him. "With this," she said, "the forest will trust you." In the days that followed, Ethan explored Lumaria deeper. He discovered floating elephants with feather-like ears that shimmered as they drifted above the ground, leaving trails of silver mist. He sketched the shifting wing moths whose wings changed color with emotion and could heal small wounds with a single touch. He watched the echo hawks mimic sounds, from waterfalls to human voices, perfectly. Every creature felt impossible, magical, yet undeniably real. But Lumaria wasn't just beautiful. It was alive in ways Ethan couldn't explain. The trees moved slightly when he walked past, flowers tilted toward him, and the glowing river brightened whenever he approached. The forest accepted him. Until one night, it didn't. Everything grew silent. The glowing flowers dimmed. Even the crystal birds hid. Ethan noticed large dark footprints pressed deep into the soft earth, too big and too sharp-edged to belong to anything he had seen here. When Erilyn examined them, her expression darkened. The Shadowhorn Beast is awake. She explained that the Shadowhorn was a creature born from imbalance, a guardian turned destructive when Lumaria sensed danger from outside. Someone, perhaps a drone or a machine, had breached the barrier. A threat had entered. The Shadowhorn felt it and was reacting. We must calm it before it destroys the heart of Lumaria, Erlen said. They followed the trail through broken trees and shattered glowing stones. When they finally found the creature, Ethan felt fear grip him. It stood like a mountain, huge, black, with horns of stone and veins glowing red like molten lava. Its eyes burned with fury, and every step it took cracked the earth. Animals fled in terror. Ethan felt the leaf amulet warming against his chest. The golden jaguar stepped between him and the Shadowhorn, glowing fiercely. Erlen whispered, "Only someone the forest has chosen can stop it." With trembling hands, Ethan placed his palm on the ground. The forest responded instantly. Vines burst from the soil, wrapping the Shadowhorn. The glowing river rose like a living wave, creating a barrier of light. The animals lent their energy, crystal birds glowing bright, echo hawks calling in harmony, floating elephants releasing silver mist. Slowly, painfully, the Shadowhorn's rage faded. Its red glow weakened. Its stone horns softened into smooth wood. It shrank, collapsing to the ground with a soft whimper, transformed into a gentle creature once again. Balance returned to Lumaria. Erlen placed her hand on Ethan's shoulder. "You have saved more than you understand. But now you must choose. You can stay here forever, or return to your world and protect the creatures who cannot hide in magic." Ethan looked around at the glowing forest, the shimmering animals, the living sky. His heart ached, but he knew the truth. "The world out there needs me," he said quietly. "They don't know how much they're losing." Erlen nodded. "Then go. But know this, Lumaria will not appear to you again. Its location changes with the heartbeat of the earth." The golden jaguar walked Ethan to the edge of the forest. As he stepped through the barrier, the world shifted. Lumaria vanished behind him like a fading dream, leaving only the leaf-shaped amulet in his hand as proof it had ever existed. Months passed. Ethan returned to civilization with a new purpose. He wrote a book titled World Wonders, The Hidden Creatures of Life, describing the beauty of nature and the importance of protecting endangered species. He never revealed Lumaria's existence, but his words touched millions. Donations to wildlife conservation skyrocketed. Forests were restored. Endangered species received new protection. People began to care again. And every night, when Ethan held the amulet, he felt